Elantris was the first published novel by Brandon Sanderson, who has gone on to be one of the most popular fantasy authors in the world. His novels are all set in the Cosmere, a universe of different worlds, all with their own unique system of magic. Apparently they start to cross over in the more recent books, but this one was the first, and it works just fine as a standalone novel. The premise is a strong one. The prologue describes how Elantris was once a beautiful city whose inhabitants could work wonders, and anyone in the world could become one if they happened to be struck by the Shiord, transforming them into a godlike being. But 10 years ago, that all changed. The gift became a curse, and all Elantrians were transformed into walking corpses, doomed to an eternity of painful suffering. This happens to one of the three main characters, Prince Riordan of Aurelon. As the book starts, he wakes up to find his heart has stopped, and his body is covered in hideous blotches. So he is taken from the palace and thrown into Elantris, which has become a hellish prison, swimming in filth and ruled by violent gangs, and he has to use all his wits to survive. It's very easy to sympathise with somebody in such a predicament, and it's rewarding to see him slowly start to change things for the better, as he tries to carve out a safe space within the chaos of Elantris and take down the gangs one by one. The second protagonist is Princess Serene of Teod, who was engaged to be married to Riordan but never met him, and she arrives in Aurelon only to be told that she is now technically a widow. At first you think her story will be all about her finding out the truth as to what's really happened to her fiancé, but instead she's mired in courtly politics and tries to introduce feminism by teaching the women of the court to fence. So it does take a while for her storyline to get interesting. The third main character is Hrathen, a priest seeking to convert Aurelon to his Dorethi religion. He's essentially the villain for most of the book, but he's never entirely evil. He only wants to convert the populace, as his evil emperor is planning to invade and kill them if he doesn't manage it. We see him plotting to win the nobles round, even as Serene is trying to stop him, and they're both intelligent characters, so it's a real battle of wits. For most of the book, the chapters rotate through these three viewpoints. All of them start off thrust into an unfamiliar city, so we get to experience the world through them, and we learn about the characters as they struggle to adapt to their new surroundings. It's not the most original of fantasy worlds, basically the usual medieval type setting, but there are some neat touches. Some of the characters have scions, which are sentient balls of light, that are a bit like the drones from Ian M. Banks' culture novels, and they allow people to have video calls with anybody else in the world who has one. So that's a fun addition to the setting, although they're never adequately explained. There isn't a massive amount of action for most of the book. Politics and diplomacy are the main thrust, so it can feel a bit slow at times, but there are plenty of unexpected plot developments introduced along the way to keep things interesting. And towards the end, the pace quickens considerably, a new threat is introduced, and characters start dropping like flies. It seems like there is no chance for the heroes to survive, but luckily at the same time we start to get revelations about what happened to Elantris in the first place. It's a lot of information to take in at once, so the last quarter of the novel is a bit dizzying compared to the rest, but the ending is satisfying enough. Brandon Sanderson is known for his complex magic systems. In this book there are aeons, which are intricate patterns that Elantrians can draw in the air to create magical effects. For most of the book the magic does not work, so we never really get into the intricacies of it all. But the explanation for why it all broke down is logical enough. All the clues are there in hindsight, though I did not get it myself, so perhaps it could have been set up a bit more clearly. Religion is a big part of the book. The Fjordell Empire are using their Dorethi religion to try to conquer the world, while in Aurelon the Korathi religion is much more peaceful. Sanderson is known for being a devout Mormon, and that does show in places, such as the lack of sex outside of marriage. But thankfully none of the religions here are shown to be entirely positive, and some are downright barbaric. Hrathen's struggle with his faith helps to make him a much more complex character than when he originally appears, and by the end he has developed in unexpected directions, and ends up a lot more sympathetic than when he started. The relationship between Riordan and Serene is also important. They are separated initially, but various plot twists enable them to spend time with each other. He keeps his real identity hidden from her for rather a long time, which is a bit of an annoying old trope, but the characters complement each other, and you do find yourself rooting for them. Sanderson's writing style is rather straightforward, no esoteric vocabulary or elaborate turns of phrase here. It's all very easy to read, while rarely being exceptional. The characters are likeable, and their world has enough neat touches to lift it above the average fantasy realm. There are plenty of unexpected developments, and it all comes together in the end, so it's an enjoyable read overall. There are loose ends left open, such as the nature of the Scions and the other magic systems on this world. Apparently sequels are coming at some point, but so far it stands alone and it works just fine as a one-off. There is one minor character who has cameos in all of Sanderson's books. He's very much in the background here, so he's not that important, although the 10th anniversary version does have a postscript in which he comes to the forefront. And there's also an epilogue comparing the magic systems from different Cosmere worlds. These editions are probably intended for the die-hard fans, but they do give newcomers a taste of the epic story that's lurking in the background. So they work for me, but others might want to skip them. To be honest, I have already read the Mistborn trilogy around 10 years ago, but I don't remember the details, so I'm thinking of rereading them soon, and I'll probably review them here as well. I would also like to embark on the epic Stormlight Archive series eventually, but in theory I am still in the middle of reading the Malazan Book of the Fallen, so I don't really want to start on another massive series full of thousands of characters. If there's any chance I might still be carrying on with the current one. Right now I am leaning towards carrying on with Sanderson, rather than ploughing my way through another 7 Malazan books, but that may change. Either way, more book reviews will definitely be forthcoming. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, you may wish to support me on Patreon, where you could have read this review a week early. Nobody did, but they could have. I'll probably post any future book reviews there first, before turning them into videos, so if you want them early, that's the place to go. So, see you next time.